to the kitchen. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a garden pesto, which I can make vegan and also equally delicious and nutritious. So right now I have so much basil growing in my garden, and instead of letting it go to waste, I am making jars and jars of pesto. I can freeze it and it's awesome on fresh pasta. So today we're going to use, instead of the traditional pine nuts, I opted for walnuts. So they're anti-parasitic, which means they ward off parasites, and they're also really great source, a plant source of omega-3s. So I'm going to put about a quarter cup of walnuts, and here's another little secret trick. Sometimes people don't like pesto because the raw garlic flavor is extremely spicy and pungent. So I'm going to take 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm actually just going to toss those in with the walnuts with their skins on. So that's going to help actually kind of roast those a little bit. All right, so those are nice and toasted. I'm gonna pour everything in here. I'm gonna let those garlic cloves cool off. All right, so those are nice and cool, and you notice it's a lot easier to just peel the skins off the garlic. And there's just a little bit of that kind of toasted look to them. Just really lightly toasted. All right, so I have my Cuisinart food processor. If you don't have a food processor, I highly recommend it. I use it all the time to make sauces and soups and things like pesto, which you can do in advance. So here I have about 1.5 cups of fresh basil leaves, freshly picked. So I'm gonna put those in there. And then a little tip, so this is the top of the basil. And you're not going to use this in pesto, but don't throw it away. You can actually use just that little bit of basil power as really awesome garnishes for seafood or veggies. So that's a little tip. So I'm going to put the walnuts and the garlic cloves in there. I also love sneaking veggies in that my kids don't know about. So I'm going to supplement the basil with about 1 cup of baby spinach. So I'm going to pack that in. Again, getting some nice vitamin C, some iron. All right, so traditional pesto calls for Parmesan cheese, which I loved. We're dairy free, so I'm opting for nutritional yeast. It's gonna give you that same kind of piquant, nutty flavor as Parmesan. And I love this brand by Gloriously Vegan, Noochy Licious. You can get it online. It's fantastic. So I want about 1/4 cup, and really it's 1-for-1, replacing Parmesan with a nutritional yeast, at least in this recipe. I'm gonna add a little salt. Kosher salt's my fave. A little freshly ground black pepper. Nice, I'm gonna put the top on. And I'm just gonna turn it on. So we're letting that go. Once you get it a nice pureed consistency, you're gonna put about 1/2 cup of good quality olive oil. I love the food processor because I can just pour it in the top and it'll drizzle it down, allowing that to emulsify. And if by chance you were using fresh Parmesan, I wouldn't suggest putting it into the food processor, but you can put it in after the fact. There we go. Ah, that's beautiful, bright green color. Let me use this. So really nice. You know, all that olive oil in there. I love putting this over gluten-free pasta, and I love to throw a little bit of broccoli right in at the end, tossing it all together. But I can take this now, put it in the fridge, and the flavors are just going to marry and intensify. It's also great to freeze, and then you can just pop it out. I also put it in ice cubes, like an ice cube tray, and then I can just add a little bit of that basil power, that pesto power, in my spaghetti sauce or any other dishes.